Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live version of We're Doing the Counting along with Shir HaShirim. We've read through Shir HaShirim. We've studied it. We've internalized it.
Yeah.
We talked it. We thought it. We felt it. We digested it.
Deepening our relationship with the Shulamite woman.
We let it fricassee in our deepest places.
Yeah. And, it took some chutzpah to dare to read it as a whole. To read it as a story, with a story.
Yeah, we tried to bring it whole, pull it whole.
Right. Yeah.
For us. Like a whole text, not a. We tried to diminish the composite nature.
So clearly it is
like literature.
Yeah, and as much as we found it pulls from other places. Certainly, other places have pulled from this text as well, right?
Yeah.
So we're nearing the end of the counting of the Omer. You're feeling the change, right? I mean, everything is changing. The weather's changing. Seasons has changed.
We're in
over the
the week of Malkhut. We talked about the Sephardic guidelines through these 7 weeks. Each week, a different energy. Last week, such a sad week, grieving, mournful week. You move through Yesod, the week of Yesod, which was body wisdom. We felt it in our body. Also, the sense that what we know becomes what we do, to find somewhere to attach our grief to action, as you see every night on the news. And now we're in the week of Malkhut, the last week, the 7th week, opening the 50 gates to wisdom, the 50th gate being opening onto our durable wisdom, which is our book. Our book, which still requires parsing for it to be determinative for us. We have to read it, we have to encounter it, we have to engage with it, dialogue with it.
The Megillah that we read, Passover is Shir HaShirim, which kind of launched us on this project. But for Shavuot, it's Ruth. It's the book of Ruth and Naomi.
Yeah, we'll be moving from Shir HaShirim to Ruth.
Which is another great love story where, Ruth says those most perfect words, your people wouldn't like your God. Where you go, I'll go, and where you're buried, I will be buried. And she makes this tremendous commitment to her mother-in-law because she loves her. And still, Naomi doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. And when they return to the land, Naomi, they're greeted, they're welcomed, and Naomi says, "Don't call me Naomi, call me Mara. Don't call me pleasant one, call me Mara, bitter one, because I am Rika, I am empty." And Ruth still doesn't give up. She still stays with her. And the redemption comes with the next generation, with the child that Ruth has, who becomes the ancestor to King David. And of course, King David to Shlomo, and Shlomo to the Shulamite, and the circle, it's all connected.
Yeah, there's some wisdom in the hurt of acknowledging your vekas, is your emptiness. I think we're in one of those periods where we recognize the emptiness. Don't be so quick push something into it.
Right.
Acknowledge, respect the emptiness, so to speak.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in your time. Nobody can tell you what your timing is. For
Those
this.
wounds don't heal so quickly. They
Right.
don't heal automatically. And we let the wounds, let it bleed. Let it bleed. Is that from Song of Songs? No, that's the Rolling Stones. See? This morning we encountered a bully in our bird population. And it recalled so many negative associations for me here in my morning meditation. And bully pushed away the finches and cardinals. The
That's
way
that blue jay. That
he
blue
whose name
jay.
shall not be mentioned pushed away the
Yeah.
Norwegian prime minister in 2017. NATO. We're not done with that. We're not done with that. Why aren't we done with that? Because that's the perfect emblem for this period.
So we're in the last week. Let's do a prayer for learning, and let's do a prayer
First,
for this day.
We're drinking a dark tea. We're drinking a dark tea in the English style with a splash of milk. I think it's an Assam from the mountains of what's called Sri Lanka today, Ceylon, planted in the late 19th century for the first time by James Taylor, loyal Scotsman, tea aficionado. Thank you very much. וערב נא אדוני אלוהינו את דברי תורתך בפינו ובפי עמך בית ישראל ונחיה אנחנו בצאצאינו בצאצאי עמך בית ישראל כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה ברוך אתה אדוני המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. Amen. Pardon me. Many allergens in the air. Oh God, pause. Make the words of your teaching pleasant on our lips, the lips of all of those that come into our screens, so that we can spend the time in learning for pleasure, for the pleasure of it, and for the opening onto gates, the gates of awareness that learning signifies, and also for the opening onto the sacred conventicle of learning. That being together, even this way, signifies. Blessed are you who teaches in this fashion. Amen. You have to talk a little bit while I cough out some of this allergens.
Take a sip of tea. Drink your tea.
Drink a cup of tea.
So, again, we are in the week of Malkhut. You got a poem?
I do. It's getting longer all the time. That's the problem here, is where to stop. Overabundance. I think we're in day 45 of the Omer, I believe. Oh, it's the fair. Good.
It is a beautiful day, too, I'll tell you.
It's a beautiful day. We're here in our undisclosed location, a remote location, on the Veld, into the 7th week, counting Tiferet in Malkhut. Tiferet should be Malkhut, the week of Malkhut, an interior notion when what we learn becomes what we do. The wisdom expressed in our walk in the world, the energy imagined in our feet. Halachti. The week of Malkhut, body wisdom complete, expressing through our feet, walking wisdom local, and how we walk in the world, holding breath for living truth. Breathe deep through the nose, exhale, and be what you've learned as evidenced through your walk in the world. Today, 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 oh, I see. There's Kenny. Today, Tiferet, the beauty in your, the Dobermans are wild this morning. Today, Tiferet, the beauty in your walk. Wisdom on its way to becoming a spiritual experience. Here's the key. First triad, Chesed, love, Gevurah, restraint, Tiferet, beauty. Second triad, Netzach, you think you know, Hod, Yesod, foundation in the body, Malkhut, the spigot, the Shem Yichud, for the sake of unity of the Holy One in Shekhinah, and to unify the name, the Yud He with the Vav He, perfect unity. I take it upon myself in love and awe, and also the works of our hands. Yes, the works of our hands. This is it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishavu mitzvotav v'tzivanu asfirat ha'omer. היום חמישה וארבעים יום שהם שישה שבועות ושלושה ימים לעומר. Today is day 45 of the Omer.
So close.
Which is 6 weeks and 3 days, 3 of the Omer.
Over 3.
Bless our president, our vice president, our mayor, and all their noble retinue. The counting of the Omer is taught by the poets of rock and roll and Ben Bagbag. Chesed, loving kindness, overflowing with Gevurah, love not fade away. The third pole, beauty, Tiferet, bright, dark, and deep. Netzach feels like we've been here before, looking for soul in Hod, with Yesod, a pleasure ground. Look from both sides now. Malkhut inward and quiet, God, you jigsaw timer. With Malkhut, the spigot opens. Turn it. Okay. I'm going to read 2 poems about why we count in 3s during the Omer. 1 poem and 1 prose piece. Look ahead. What was missing last week may appear this week. What was missing last week may appear this week. Or together they may make a unity that will be expressed next week. 3 weeks. Last week, this week, next week. That's why we think in 3s during the Omer. Oh, here's another. Why we think 3 during the Omer, another opinion. With 32 mystical, here's the epigraph. With 32 mystical paths of wisdom, 32 the 10 principles, the Sfirot, and the 22 letters, engraved Yah, and created a world with 3 Sfarim, with text, Sefer, with number, Svar, and with story, Sipur. Sefer Yetzirah, Chapter 1, Mishnah 1. There it is, from one of the earliest texts of Jewish mysticism, Sefer Yetzirah, between 3rd and 5th century CE. The 3 interacting principles. There is a text. There is an elemental, that is a finite amount of principles, universal. Some we know, some we may not know. And there are the interpretations, the stories, the limits, only the limits of our imaginations. 3. There is the elemental, fundamental, like Sfirot, Sfira, a certain set of principles. Let's say for the sake of discussion, 10. There is a text, the tale. There is the text of existence. There are the individual texts of our lives. And there is the story, working the text, the story elastic as it is. Again, the limitations, only the limitations of our willingness to work our own tales, to tell our own stories. That's why we think in threes, triads, during the counting of the Omer. Okay, I'm going to read this rewrite and then make a holy prayer for blessing for healing. Okay? You with me, kid?
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah's plan for peace rewrite. What does it mean? It's a good question, but not the only question. Now, what to do? First, the silent heart of grief, which precedes the what it means question. The world cracked. Hate corrupts, love repairs. We know this. First response, the heart of mourning, opening to the heart of wisdom. Sometime into the future, we will respond by knowing what to do. For now, open a moment to the suffering, still a part of our story. Our story, a part of the world's story. Pray for peace in the grandest and most individual ways. The peace of the near and the peace of the far. Leave the wound open. Let it bleed. Sometime into the future. Sometime into the future. There may be healing for the losses. There's some sort of comfort for us all. The week of Malkhut, the spigot, open it.
So it is, these are the last days of mourning because
Buffy, don't eat that.
the days of the Omer are kind of a veil of mourning over them, and I think we felt that. We've certainly felt it as we've moved through these weeks.
You betcha.
And so it's not surprising that we're feeling it all the more so right now, and that the veil will be lifted. That we're hoping that the veil will be lifted. It doesn't change the grief, but it pushes us to embrace the next part of the circle dance of these holy days, Shavuot, the climax of our story. But and we get to enjoy it for a little bit, but not for too long, because we'll enter into the 3 weeks. More serious mourning, and then to prepare us for the new year. So the circle dance of the holidays, the holy days, continues, each one connected to the next, each one meant to push us a little bit further along our way.
The healing of the spirit and the healing of the body. The world and nefesh, the world and good. For those we know, for those we don't know. Am I right? The answer is Am I left the answer got me? In front of me, the angel will be here. Behind me, the angel Raphael. But my hair. Shekhinah too. Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaShorim. Amen.
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 Amen. So for everyone who needs a little healing, a little hope, thanks for joining us on this 45th day of the counting of the Omer. It is a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It is Tuesday, the last day of May. Last
Okay.
day of May.
Join us Thursday night. We've got a concert we're going to do. So
7:30. It can
Do
be
the
online
songs.
or in person.
then we'll be here tomorrow morning at 9:30. Will be Shavuos.
Saturday night
Saturday
at 8
night.
o'clock.
We'll kick
On
that
Zoom,
off.
online. We'll be on streaming and on Zoom, I think.
Thanks, kids. Thanks for coming.
And don't forget about Yisker. We're also going to do Yisker just on Zoom, I think. And all of these are available on the CRC website. Have a great day. Have a good day, a meaningful day. It is, Malkhut. Bring a little beauty and Tiferet. So
I mean,
bring a little beauty into the world in whatever way you can.